Then Fathom recording. I think I might have got it resumed. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's still on. All right, I'm going to do a countdown and then we will go live here, or not. We're actually not going live, so I'm not going to do the countdown. So, all right, well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Yonks, and this is our second working group for HeroX Solar Prize Round 8. And big news on this, we're actually making a fairly solid pivot from our first working group, which we held last Friday afternoon, and got a lot of agenda here today. And this is a Google Docs that you'll be able to find linked here. This is one of the things that we build in a radically transparent model with our Zoom and live streaming format. And I'm making this a little bit bigger for everybody on the other end. So one of the things that I will always talk about is we will always build people first organizations, not a technology first approach. And in our community, I absolutely love our FELG culture, fun, earning, learning, and giving. And I want to start off here, real quick timestamp with thank those that added their participation to the Let Us Meet for this working group. And for those that aren't familiar, Let Us Meet is a tool that we use for finding the most inclusive time so that we can, again, have the people that are interested in participating in the conversation. And we had 7 people that added their availability. So thanks everybody that added your availability on that. So brief intros. We actually have a few new people that weren't here on the working group. And I'm going to kick it over to Nicole. If you could do a real quick intro, Nicole. Very excited to have you on the team. And Nicole is with 28 Lions. And I'll bring up her website and let you do a quick intro, Nicole.
Yeah, hello, and thank you, Jason and team. I'm excited to be a part, and I enjoy branding, and I'm a 20-year creative marketing veteran, and so I lead creative teams. I've ran creative departments, and now I have my own branding agency, and I walk people through the entire branding framework from an inside out perspective. So you have a great looking brand because you have a great internal brand, and that gives a very quick understanding of what I do. And thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Looking forward to, and just a side thought here real quick. I'm going to throw this up because we're going through a process with 3Win Social. That's going to be our DAO ecosystem hub. And this website built using WordPress is going to look and feel very different probably over the next 30 to 60 days. And I'm really excited to work with Buddy Boss on that, and we'll bring that up for discussion later. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up supercharge.earth. Very excited to have Ted on the team here. So go ahead, over to you, Ted.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ted. Let me get my camera on here. I'm in my car, so I apologize. But I'm Ted Ifantis. I am the owner, CEO of Supercharge. We're quickly expanding. We're in the EV charging space of EV charging. And we're currently operating out of downtown Denver, expanding to more locations. And excited about the opportunity to work with the group here on HeroX. And especially the PPA with the energy. That's huge for me, right? The energy space. And me and Jason met, we discussed the project, and we'd love to complement and work together to get chargers on that property. Nice to meet everybody.
All right, thank you for that. And I don't see anybody else that's able to do introduction here right now. And let me double check real quick. All right, so nope. All right, that's great. And moving on the agenda. So one of the things that I want to talk about, because one of the things that I love doing, especially in working with a distributed team such as ourselves, all of our time is absolutely precious. And one of the ways that we like building is architecting incentives into what we're doing. So that's one of the things that I want to touch on is, and we've got a section here, team split 50-50. and prize money, any prize money. And I'm pretty sure that this is 3 tranches that are for HeroX Solar Prize Round 8. And pretty sure that the first one is 50K, and we're going to be splitting the prize money 50% to team contributors and 50% to Gigs Go Green DAO Treasury. And this is something now that we're introducing on-chain energy network. We'll probably do a 25% to on-chain energy network and 25% to Gigs Go Green, just to keep it more fair so that we can move out of a bootstrapping modality. And then if we do progress through all 3 rounds and we do win the grand prize, it's 2 teams will win $500,000. So one of the things that we have decided is that we're going to be doing a 1K participation reward that will reduce for lack of working groups participation, and want to be fair to the people that do add their availability that aren't able to participate, so that they won't be slashed on their participation reward. And this is something that we added since our working group last week, is want to provide a minimum participation reward of $250. And this is a table that I added some details to since our last working group last week. And this is something that we will be using in conjunction. So please take a look if you want to do a slight modification to your role and title in this. And after you, Nicole, if you do decide to officially join our HeroX team, I'll be sure to get you added to this list as well.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. All right, getting back to our agenda here. So this will be a timestamp and talking about the additional resource. This was another thing that I looked at, and I would definitely encourage people taking a look at the important links section. This is where you can definitely do a deeper dive around. I would start off with like either the YouTube video or the webinar slides, as far as just to better understand, because the better that you understand the framework of this contest, the more that you can add more informed contributions. And that's, of course, operate on a choose your own adventure here. But this was a new resource that I added based upon a conversation with our power connector here at the first of the week, is the alumni handbook. Alumni book. And just to kind of like unpack the contents of this, and this provides a better perspective as far as some of the American-made challenges that the U.S. Department of Energy, like right here is Solar Prize, and this is just one of as you can see here, a long list of HeroX opportunities. And we will likely submit additional ones. One that we submitted for in 2023 was the Community Power Accelerator Prize. And this doesn't even include the Community Energy Innovation Prize, which we will likely submit Gigs Go Green Region Village for as well. And then another one, and this was 2023, and whether they do another round of these in 2024, 2025 is a question mark. But one of the things that we'll absolutely be incorporating into our design philosophy is equitable community solar through our cooperative ownership aspect, the way that we're building projects. So anyway, moving back to our agenda, timestamp for the next portion of our agenda here. So briefly I already showed the HeroX participants table. And again, everybody should have edit access to this, the Google Doc. And if you don't, hit me up here. And so discuss the feedback from the Power Connector resources. So this is the main catalyst for doing the pivot from the Gigs Go Green Region Village narrative. And this is something that I added some more details to. We had a conversation with Amanda Buchanan, who's at the University of Arizona Center for Innovation. And I'm pretty sure that that's at uaic.com. Right here, yes. So Amanda Buchanan is again with the University Center for Innovation in Arizona. And the way that I understand these Power Connector resources is these are organizations that basically have received grant money for facilitating as a power connector through various American-made challenges. And this is an opportunity that we can dig deeper into additional ones. And I've got an agenda item where I'm going to do a deeper dive on that here. So does anybody, and one thing that I do want to mention is that do have the Fathom video if anybody wants to take a look at that summary later. But does anybody want to provide any thoughts as far as the, I did highlight, this is something that I actually want to touch on. And I'm going to actually just read this real quick, this paragraph. This is one that I copied and pasted from the AI notes. So Amanda provided feedback that the Solar Prize is focused on developing specific solar-related products or technologies rather than broader community development projects. She suggested that the Solve It Prize or Community Energy Innovation Prize may be a better fit for the Gigs Go Green project as they are more oriented towards community scale solutions. She recommended focusing the Solar Prize application on a specific innovation such as the blockchain-based cooperative ownership model. And this is something that we'll do a deeper dive coming up here momentarily. So does that make sense to everybody as far as why that we are doing the pivot?
Makes sense to me.
Thank you, Sinbad. And I don't see anybody else opening their mic. And
Yes, Jason,
ahead,
me
Ted.
too. And that's great. Yes, I do understand. We'll get into blockchain later, but also I want to mention that my company, we do commercial solar installs. We do that as well, just so you know.
Absolutely love that. And that's one of the things that we will be unpacking as far as evaluating when the time comes. And I don't think that I've got a specific agenda, but I might bring that up later. So besides the region village, and I want to thank Sinbad again for the aerial drone photography and videography that he did last week. I added some annotations to this. So besides the Gigs Go Green region village, our goal is to really pipeline 3 at least parking lots in 2024, 2025 that we can begin working on developing. Because you think about upgrading a parking lot and moving it from an expense for that asset owner into an income producing asset with solar, battery storage, and EV charging, which makes it a very strategic distributed energy resource. That very quickly moves that parking lot from an expense into an income producing asset that we're going to structure through our cooperative ownership model using blockchain technology. So we'll be unpacking.
And Jason,
go ahead, Ted.
Oh, and real quick, yeah. So I cover all that. I have we do the solar installation. We provide the battery storage. I'm working with a company right now that does. They actually have a unique system that can double the power available, and I think combined with the on-chain energy network, with the PPA, we could really. I know our margins could be really high.
Absolutely. And the numbers as far as the EV charging, all indications from my research is it's by far the most expensive energy that gets sold in local markets. So
yes.
Yep. And as I mentioned when we were having our conversation, I operate from an abundance mentality, not a scarcity mentality like a lot of founders do. And with the Inflation Reduction Act, the clock started ticking in 2022 when that went into effect. And there's literally hundreds of billions of dollars of tax credits on the table for organizations and I see Jonathan throwing in here, plus the CHIPS Act, and that's something that we will continue to unpack. So anyway, moving down on the agenda for our next timestamp opportunity here, pivoting with HeroX from the project name Narrative. Current team name is Gigs Go Green, Region Village at East Lake. And I'm just going to open up in another tab real quick here. I'm actually just going to go back to I'll do this on another tab so I don't lose this one here because I'm going to come back to that one in a minute. So, and this is something that we will update, and I want to thank everybody for opting in. And I do see an invite and join request so that we'll unpack that. Is this somebody that you had a conversation with, Tyler Jordan?
No, I'm not sure who that is.
Okay, we'll come back to that later. So anyway, want to thank everybody that's joined the team, and we will edit this in a minute here to the new team name, which is going to be On-Chain Energy Network plus Gigs Go Green. So now this is where we get to discuss what is On-Chain Energy Network. And first of all, I want to preface this by saying this isn't a super new idea. I actually registered the domain assets for On-Chain Energy last month on July 14th. And this is kind of born out of just thinking about creating some brands here. And I'm going to actually bring this into the Gigs Go Green ecosystem right here. So solar EV is going to be one of the distributed energy resources from a brand within the Gigs Go Green ecosystem. And when you think about really achieving scale, like the goal that I have put forward, which is a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal with Gigs Go Green, is we would like to onboard 10 million people nationally and globally into this Gigs Go Green ecosystem by 2030. And in order to achieve that kind of scale, we absolutely need to have technology solutions in place. And this is where, if people don't want to necessarily be a part of the Gigs Go Green ecosystem, they can absolutely participate in a larger ecosystem such as on-chain energy network. And in states that have favorable regulations like Colorado, we can basically become the power company through community solar regulations. So another thing, ENS domain, onchainenergy.eth. I'm not really going to unpack what that looks like. So really positioning on-chain energy network as a SaaS, software as a service solution. And components that we need in this software as a service to scale Gigs Go Green: cooperative ownership, project management, virtual power plants, and community solar subscriber management. And on that note, are there any other bullet points that we could potentially put on the roadmap for incorporating into this on-chain energy network?
Okay.
I think that's a good start. Is that what you're saying with your okay there, Ted?
Yeah. So the blockchain. So dive into a little bit more. How is the blockchain going to? Is that going to feed the PPA? How does it work?
So that's a great question. And one of the ways that that's going to work is through cooperative ownership. And that's one of the things that I'm actually patent pending for as of April of 2024, the methods of cooperative ownership of various types of property using blockchain tokens. So that's one of the things that got some feedback again, and this is where we can potentially lean into like the development, because that's one of the ways that we're going to be capitalizing this ecosystem, these distributed energy resources, is through the cooperative ownership model. So from my perspective, when you think about capitalizing, raising things, and Jonathan put in a really great point. The blockchain is something that we really need to abstract away from the conversation. And that's one of the things that there's a lot of narrative around doing account abstraction. So the way that I like to talk about tokenized real world assets is it's basically like a digital stock certificate as far as the cooperative ownership aspect. And one of the other things too that's an opportunity, and I'm going to bring this into a tab right here. So I don't know if anybody else is familiar with Energy WebX, and I'm going to throw this in the chat room here, but this is something that I'm going to unpack going through and becoming a champion with Energy WebX so that I can see what sort of resources, because Energy WebX is a tradable security token, and they're really looking to create enterprise solutions for the energy niche. And just going through the website here, one-stop endless possibilities. And again, I haven't done a deep dive as far as the capabilities that Energy WebX is providing. And so another thing here, the utility token for utilities. And when you unpack what is on-chain energy network, basically that will allow us through technology to become what is known as a virtual power plant. When you think about us building out these distributed energy resources, the solar to generate, the battery to store energy, and then the EV charging, the secret component, in my opinion, is really the battery storage. And that's also what unquestionably adds a lot of resilience to the utility grid. And what's going to happen is that legacy energy companies such as Xcel Energy that serves Colorado here are going to be more moving to transmission infrastructure. And the way that I understand solar economics, and this goes back to the community solar subscriber management piece, is that the solar economics are so great in 2024. If you can onboard solar subscribers through, like you mentioned, a power purchase agreement there, whether it's home residential customers, we have through community solar regulations the opportunity to onboard community solar subscribers in like here with our region village. We're going to be building a cooperative ownership model. So it'll be very easy, for example, for us to onboard almost every customer in this dynamic into on-chain energy network as a subscriber, a community solar subscriber to on-chain energy network. So this is one of the things, going back to the solar economics, the way that I understand them is we can provide a guaranteed savings over traditional energy companies such as Xcel here in Colorado, where we can provide a guaranteed savings, like say 90% for normal residential, and then the opportunity for us to provide an even greater reduction, let's say 80%. So that would be a 20% cost reduction to low and moderate income. And this is one of the opportunities around Jedi that we can incorporate into our narrative here with this and say, hey, any low or moderate income LMI households, we're going to be providing through on-chain energy network a 20% reduction. So they'll pay 80% of what they would normally pay for that same energy through Xcel, the energy company. So future deep dive, get the permits approved. And I don't know if you're able to unpack that, Jonathan, via like, I don't know if you can open up your mic to expand out your thoughts on that.
Yeah. As far as the blockchain goes, I don't want to overcomplicate the objective of both the call and the project at the phase it's in. Really, we can say blockchain equals software as a service in the future. And so if that's fair, then the next step in my mind, based on where the business model sits and how long it will be to be finalized reasonably with a risk assessment completed, you're at feasibility of the project. And with any feasibility, you're talking about supply chain management, right? And implications in process. And so what I want to see as a hurdle for most projects in a similar situation, permitting seems to be the hurdle, the challenge. And so if there's anything I can contribute to this project, it would be to make sure that when we get to the permitting stage, there is no questions or concerns whatsoever. And that will be the value to the community I will be happy to add.
Thanks for that clarification. And one thing, if I didn't mention, the goal here with Solar Prize is really they want to see something that will be ready for commercialization at scale on a 3 to 5 year time frame. So this is really like gives us an opportunity to sell the vision. And I want to just bounce real quick up to the what we have as far as the deliverables for our project. So when you unpack what we have to submit, it's a fairly short list. Submission form, that's pretty easy. We've done that multiple times for various HeroX projects. the 90-second video. Sinbad is going to be doing most of the heavy lifting on that. A narrative, not to exceed 2,500 words. Jedi contest submission, not to exceed 500 words, and then a one summary PowerPoint slide. So when you think about like the complexity, this isn't like a 20 or 40 page business plan. 2,500 words is not a lot to really put forward what we're looking to do here. And this is one of the things over the next, this is our second. Go
That's
ahead.
like the size. That's like the size of a blog post.
Yeah, and a smaller blog post. I mean, there's a lot of blog posts that go a deeper one. So, and as Jonathan mentioned in the Zoom chat, little to no technical. And this is where we can think about putting bullet points, and again, just thinking about a 3 to 5 year time frame. And one of the reasons that I love blockchain technology is because of its composability. So like putting these components that we need in this SaaS to scale gigs go green, the cooperative ownership is one of the things that we can potentially focus on. And this is also the first of 3 opportunities to progress. And I don't know what the additional components, the main goal here is, of course, to get a nod from the judges. And this is one of the things, going back to the important links, unpacking the rules is where you can really see what it looks like. And that's something that we talked on during working group number 1 last Friday. So does anybody else want to throw in anything here as far as the on-chain energy network and some bullet points that we've put as far as more of a roadmap for developing the software as a solution for on-chain energy network? Cool. I'm going to check this one off. So I'm going to go ahead right now. This is a working group. So let's actually going to our tab. And I thought that I had it in another tab here, but I'm going to just use this one real quick to update the team edit. So this is how easy it's going to be to update our team name, because I've got this ready to go, copy and paste here. And this is a potential opportunity. And as you know, Nicole, I'm more of a fan of just using, I'll do the description later, but we do have a team logo, and whether it makes sense to do Gigs Go Green or the background image, I'm not going to worry about changing that right now. But just got the team name updated to On-Chain Energy Network plus Gigs Go Green, and this is something that can update the description for. And thank you. I see some kudos from Gigs Go Green with Jonathan, and I'm really excited. Again, what we're doing with Gigs Go Green is positioning that as a movement for gig workers, and I'm not going to unpack that anymore here, because the main narrative that we're shifting towards right now is On-Chain Energy Network. So we got the team name officially updated here. So review the power connector resource opportunities. And this is, again, Sinbad is where requesting for some participation from you and whomever else would like to participate on this. And I'm going to bounce back here real quick to the power connector resources and make this a little bit bigger here. So it looks like that there's 2 resources that we can leverage through InColor Consulting, and this is something that we can take offline besides Sinbad. Is there anybody else that would like to participate in the Jedi support conversations?
Yeah, I probably would.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll coordinate. Anybody else before we move on to the next bullet point on our agenda? And feel free to hit me up offline, but we'll work on getting that coordinated, hopefully for early this next week, like Tuesday or Wednesday. And anyway,
I can come. I can participate in that one.
okay, so let's see. I'm gonna make note of this here real quick. I am Lotus plus Tyler, and again, Jonathan. All right, thanks, Jonathan. And this is one of the things too that we will also be doing. And I want to show this real quick because this is a really cool resource that we have already used. I don't think that we've talked about this, but this is one of the Ever.Green has a fabulous tool for really showing some of the opportunities of stacking some of these green energy tax credits. And they are also building a marketplace where we can sell these. And I've already logged in here with the Gigs Go Green login that we've created. And the darker the purple, just to provide some perspective, is the zones that are the most strategic for stacking the most of these green energy tax credits that we talked a little bit about within the Inflation Reduction Act. And we've got 3 pilot communities that we identified, and because it's the deepest color. Welby, Boulder up here, Boulder for a lot of obvious reasons. I like to say it's probably the tree hugger capital of the United States. And then the third is down here in Inglewood. And I think that there used to be a coal plant around this area. So that's one of the things that they are doing the most economic incentives. So that's something that we can likely incorporate Sinbad into our video narrative as far as why that we're targeting these pilot communities. And Regen Village is up here, and I think it falls within anyway, let's see. But anyway, I'm not going to talk anymore about Evergreen right now. So book another Calendly office hours with Amanda, and this is something we'll take a look at her calendar. And if anybody wants to be on any of these additional Power Connector conversations, let us know. We've only got 15 minutes for our agenda, but this is where, and again, I'm going to be intentional about capturing these Power Connector conversations via Fathom. So that those replays, those notes will be available for everybody to look at here within our agenda as well. So and I see project pipeline. This is something that I actually want to touch on really quick. This is one of the strategic niches that we're focusing, faith-based organizations, so solar EV for churches. This is something that we've had a lot of conversations surrounding and talking about a project pipeline. We've identified a list of 18 churches. And when you think about organizations that serve the community at large, and when you think about like what I mentioned earlier, is that we would like to see, besides Regen Village here, we would really like to see 3 minimally pipelined projects. And one of the things that we're expecting to do with the framework that we're creating here with the On-Chain Energy Network and Gigs Go Green is we're really wanting to make this a simple situation for these faith-based organizations to upgrade their parking lot and then work with them to onboard potentially on-chain energy network subscribers. But the reason that we shortlisted these churches is because it stacks the most. ITC is an acronym for investment tax credits, and Ever.Green is one of several platforms. And these are all locations that we have pipelined here in previous conversations with what we're doing. And so just wanted to touch on, and this is at churches.gigsgogreen, and all of these links can be found on our link tree right now at gigsgogreen.org, which again redirects, and this is something that we've broken out. Project homepage, that's what I was just showing you. And then this was some conversations that we had earlier here in 2024, working towards building this pipeline opportunity of churches here in Colorado that, again, stack these investment tax credits. So let's see. All right, moving on. Does anybody else want to chime in? Any thoughts on the power connectors? And again, this is something that we can take offline. If you want to be in these conversations, hit me up on the DMs. All right, don't see anybody opening up their mic on this one. So one of the things that wanted to touch on briefly, we talked a little bit about a breakout opportunity on our first working group for the business plan. And we're planning to schedule the follow-up conversation. And again, this business plan is really the business plan surrounding Gigs Go Green Region Village. This unquestionably is going to be one of our flagship proof of concepts that we're building out, which incorporates the 3 synergistic cooperatives, the circular economy model for Gigs Go Green, and just wanted to touch on that here. So one of the opportunities that want to bring forward is creating a breakout team for creating our one-pager, and this will be a one-pager for on-chain energy network. And this is something that I thought that you might be interested in contributing. And I'm thinking, Tyler, what are your thoughts as far as doing a 1K breakout reward for this?
Yeah, that's fine.
So who wants to raise their hand and contribute to this breakout team for creating our one pager? Nicole plus Jonathan. All right. Anybody else? And we'll take that conversation offline. We'll do it in a normal format, something on Let Us Meet, so that we can find the most inclusive time for us to get together. So moving down the next opportunity, and let me add this real quick to create. Go ahead,
Hey, Jason.
Tyler.
When we're doing the one pager, are we doing the longer form brochure at the same time or no?
Right now, I'm only interested in honestly creating the deliverables on the HeroX. With everything else that we're working towards right now, I want to simplify the conversation, and that's something that
that's fine. I just wondered if it would be easier to do both. That's fine if we can wait.
Yeah, because right now the conversation around on-chain energy network is so preliminary. But yeah, creating a solid one pager is not an easy thing, and looking forward to getting that deliverable crossed off the list here. So,
Hey, Jason,
Oh, go ahead.
yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say any additional support pages to the one pager should kind of align with the narrative of the product development. So I think, Tyler's kind of right. The one pager is actually just the first page of the 3 pager.
Yeah, and then the opportunity over time to create like a slide deck and stuff like that. And the way that I like considering the assets that we're going to be creating here, this is all assets that we can also use as collateral within our forthcoming regulation crowdfunding offerings and or any other sorts of situations. Like I'm right now planning to pitch Region Village at an upcoming Denver Startup Week here, which is the third week, September 17th. And I'll be sure to link you up on that conversation, Ted, or anybody else that's here in Colorado that may be interested. But Denver Startup Week is, I think, the 16th to the 20th, around then. And from what I hear, there's probably going to be around 300 people for what they're expecting at this pitch fest. And it also has some blockchain centricity. So, because you may want to, Ted, to pitch Supercharge at that thing as well. So I'll get you those details and take that offline.
Hey, before we move on, hey, Nicole, real quick question. When we're
Yeah.
doing this one pager, can you set us up a shell that we can just plug in future things? So
Yeah, like a template.
yeah, template. Yeah.
You
Can
mean
just-
like a Google Doc kind of thing, or what?
No, I'm more thinking like a Canvas style, whatever, like the professional version that is. Where we
Oh,
can
like a
just,
slide deck?
yeah, slide deck and just kind of put that together so we can just plug in the text in the future.
Yeah. We can talk offline too, because I've got all various ways we can talk about it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing on our agenda, next timestamp that we have here, let us meet for working group number 3. So I'm pretty sure that is this tab right here. I haven't even added my own availability yet. So I've got this as a next action, and this is something that targeting Right now, it seems like that Friday afternoon has been working well, but this is something here that we'll take a look at throughout Thursday, September 5th to the 10th on Tuesday over that span of 6 days. So please add your availability so that we can get the most inclusive time here. And then we've got only 7 minutes left in our allocated time, and I feel good about going through all of the agenda here and want to open it up for any discussion and ensure that the next actions have been captured. And this is one of the things that I love about Fathom is it also captures the next actions, but I think that I did good here throughout the agenda today doing that. But anyway, would love to hear any thoughts and I'm going to stop talking and let you all chime in some thoughts now.
I'd just like a quick recap of the Jetta part since I, was kind of shouted out for participation. That just mainly because it says, would like to attend. I just want to make sure I'm understanding the participation involvement in that, like how much of that is just being part of the project deliverable and how much of that is it like attending the event somewhere, sometime in a thing?
Yeah, so thoughts on that, Sinbad, is that we'll take a look at the Calendly here for Ashley and Rachel both. And I'm not sure, I guess I can open this up here within this window. So 15 or 30-minute conversation. So, and then we can just try to find a time that's got available. And it looks like that she has quite a bit of availability here. So just taking a look at Tuesday. So got good. And this is all, of course, in Mountain Time, which we're both in Mountain Time here in Denver area. So we can find what works the best for, and then taking a look at Rachel's calendar, similar dynamic, and then they will be able to provide guidance. And now that we've unpacked the shift towards on-chain energy network plus gigs go green, and then incorporating our pilot communities are Boulder, Welby, and Inglewood, because that's where we can do a deeper dive. And then also one other consideration is that gig workers are also underserved by just their niche financially. It creates barriers of entry, and creating cooperative ownership around these gig workers is an opportunity to provide service to an underserved niche. Now, that's a little different than on-chain energy network, but what I mentioned as far as where we can provide a 20% cost reduction for onboarding community solar subscribers into on-chain energy network is where we can really provide some narrative around serving low and moderate income households.
All right, I think I'm there now. The main things is, obviously since we are changing the narrative, definitely we'll need to, agree and have these meetings probably this coming week because, as I understand, the competition is still the end of September, and while I am quite good and skilled at my craft, I do have other clients and things that will eventually take me a week to do the editing and crafting, and we still want to do. Because we originally had a couple different days for things for filming booked, so if that kind of retools, we'll definitely need to get whatever the narrative decision is, we'll need to, I would say, be done and locked in by the end of next week at the absolute latest.
Yeah, and we could take those conversations offline as far as finding the best time to get those times booked so that we can get input from Ashley and Rachel with In Color Consulting. And there's some additional resources here, Sinbad, and I'll throw this in the Zoom chat as far as the Jedi handbook, and it looks like that they had a webinar operationalizing Jedi, and I'll take a look too to see if there's if we can shortlist some of the prior Jedi contest winners, because providing or taking a look at their 90-second video may provide some inspiration for you as well.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in some thoughts here on this last few minutes that we have on this wonderful Friday afternoon?
Great job getting this all together. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm thankful to be a part.
We are thankful for everybody that's participating, and this is one of the ways that we will create positive impact in our community is through collaboration, and that's one of the things that Tyler and I are absolutely committed at in 2024 and beyond is collaborating, because doing what we're doing is definitely not easy, and disrupting legacy government-enabled monopolies such as Excel here in Colorado is not an easy undertaking, and we have no delusions that it's going to be an easy process. And I'm sure that Ted could provide some feedbacks as far as some of the frustrations that he's had in working on getting his energy projects live.
Yeah, no, it's very challenging. It's extremely challenging, actually. Took a year to build my first location. Took over about 15, 16 months just to get the next location signed off with the power company. So it's very extensive. It's not easy. On the solar side, I do have, I have legal that's expert on that. I know the gentleman, Jonathan. I know you said you could help with the permitting. That's fantastic. And yeah, there's a lot to discuss. But yeah, it's challenging, guys. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's not so much the construction, right? That's the easy part. I would say it's easy, but that's the smallest obstacle. The real obstacle is the planning, securing the funds to build the location, and doing all the meeting all the requirements necessary to build it. So excited to be on the platform. Looking forward to the next meeting, and a pleasure to meet everybody.
Thanks for the additional feedback. And this is one of the things that I'm going to put on here. PMP, CEUs, because I think that there's an opportunity to create project management continuing education units, because that's one of the things that I anticipate really needing to create the scale that we're wanting to do is educating project managers so that they can deliver from start to finish these types of projects. And I see some heart emojis from Jonathan, so I'll take that as some agreement, and we can have more conversations about that. But again, want to be respectful of everybody's time. We've got Labor Day weekend here. Everybody have a fun and safe weekend. I'm going to stop the share, and if anybody wants to chime in some final thoughts, this is your last opportunity before we end this conversation here today.
Hey, Jason, invite everybody to the book club at Clubhouse tomorrow, because that's a good book.
Oh, so we're kicking off, and I'll do this subtle plug here. And if anybody's interested for an invitation, here Saturday morning, and we're kicking off a brand new book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, insert explicative there, which is a global bestseller. I think that it's sold over 10 million copies. So hit me up. You know how to get a hold of me if anybody wants to join that book club. And we run that from 9 to 11 in Mountain Time. And the fabulous thing about our book club format is that you don't have any homework. We actually stream the audio via the Clubhouse conversation for about an hour, and then have a conversation with friends for about an hour. And this is something that we've been doing for over 3 years now, and I absolutely enjoy the conversation. So if you're interested, hit me up and I'll send you a link so that you can plug into that.
Thank you, Jason. And Nicole, what is the name of your marketing company?
It's called 28 Lions. The number 2, the number 8, and then lions after that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, this is it's my logo.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Okay. Like to connect. Maybe we could just discuss some marketing.
I'd like to just chat. I want to.
Yeah.
And the book club sounds fun. I'm not sure yet, but I love this kind of stuff.
All right.
But yeah, let's connect. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thanks everybody. Have a again fun and safe Labor Day weekend. Thank you for being here, Nicole.
Blessings. Bye.
I do want to ask Jonathan if he does licensing in other states other than Colorado.
You'll have to hit him up on LinkedIn. He already dropped.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.